Hello and welcome to your in-depth weekly horoscope for week commencing the 27th of June. I'm going to give you the key strands to look out for this week. Please stay with me. I will then dive deep to give you in forensic detail each of the 12 zodiac signs from Aries through to Pisces, which you can watch in terms of your ascendant or your sun or both. Now this week, of course, does see the new moon in the sign of Cancer. Now, depending on where you are in the world, it's on the 28th or 29th. In terms of Universal Central Time, it's the 29th. And this squares with the buoyant energy of Jupiter. Now, both are in cardinal signs. Cancer, the second of the cardinal quadrants, is very much about protection, nurture, the environment, our home, our family, our feelings. So that upbeat energy, that levitating energy of Jupiter is asking us to find ways, enterprising ways, because I think Jupiter is pushing for that, to add that sense of security at the root of our existences. Now Neptune, the planet of dreams, does begin a retrograde on Tuesday, which will last through to the 4th of December. Neptune's great if we want to embrace a more spiritual dimension, whether it's a more traditional spirituality or something that's more personal and much more to do with our own particular way of experiencing faith. But the retrograde could see us thinking very deeply about these issues over this period of time. But later this week, Neptune gets into a rather destructive right angle with Mercury. Mercury in the sign of Gemini, of course, is in its home sign, and it's very much about clarity and quick wits. So an exchange towards the end of this week may require a little more care, particularly if you're talking about a contract, but some gossip could be doing the rounds, so vital to try to keep things real. But there are two glorious influences this week. Mars forges a very stable angle to Saturn, and also there's a beautiful link between Jupiter and Venus. Now that can actually be very lucky, and if you're wanting to look to add to your family, I understand that this particular aspect can be very helpful, but it's also one where we can socialise and be a bit more free-spirited and live in the moment. Now the more break-in and restrictive energies of Saturn are counterbalanced by the more progressive energies of Mars, which is very much about pushing forwards. So Saturn can act as a bit of an anchor for the more rampant and more impulsive energies of Mars, so that's a very nice balancing influence too. In fact, towards the end of this week, despite the fact that Mercury gets blighted by Neptune, it actually also itself forges a stable link to Saturn. So I think as the week goes on, scrutinising the details around anything is going to be important. And as I say, particularly if you're discussing a contract, a job offer, or you're sending some communication that's important, make sure that you treble check everything before you do press that send button. Now, if you'd like to get a more detailed understanding of the new moon, please see beneath this video and you can watch my new moon special video. But if you are new to my channel, I'd be honoured if you would subscribe. I'm nearly there at the 100,000 subs mark, and if you've already subscribed, I'm very grateful. And if you would like to ascend above this zodiac broadcast and embrace the wonder of more serious astrology, if you give me 3 pieces of personal birth data of time, date and place, I can give you a roadmap that can guide you for the rest of your life, as well as a 12-month personal forecast. These are completely individual to you, and there's 30% off if you see the link beneath this video with my special offer. So Aries, the fact that your ruling planet Mars is forging such a really substantive link with Saturn this week is really encouraging. If you're someone who wants to network with people, but you feel there's a good balance between you having an input but also collaborating with them, then that's a very stable influence. In terms of your social situation, a surprise text or message or invitation can be the highlight of your week. That could be around Wednesday, but it could happen from Monday through to Friday as Venus forges that beautiful alliance with Jupiter in your sign. Now, of course, Neptune does go retrograde, and for you in a very sensitive area. Anything to do with tuning in to the shadow side of your nature. So if you're finding that there are certain patterns that come up in your life that are proving a little bit more challenging to understand, Neptune's retrograde gives you the chance to dive deep through to the 4th of December to understand that in a much greater way. It could be that you think about counselling. It may be that if you work as a healer, your work is going to become much more profound for you during that time. If you've got any kind of psychic ability, it's likely to be enhanced by Neptune's retrograde. Now, of course, the new moon itself is asking us to think, all of us, to think about that strand of security. But for you, maybe the link with the new moon and Jupiter could see you thinking about moving altogether, or improving, or downsizing, or redecorating. But something very active linked to your family. There could be a gathering or a celebration. Or if there's been a period of time where you've not been able to get together, perhaps with your extended family, and possibly due to COVID, reunions are very much on the astral cards for you over the following month from Wednesday. But later in this week, there could be someone who's up to a little bit of mischief, but also you could kid yourself and start overthinking about a situation and actually imagining how other people are picturing your situation and their particular take on it. So I think you could be more sensitive to more doubting inner voices and anxieties as this week draws to a close, and it's important to try to make sure that you're orientating towards the people who are very reinforcing in terms of your personal identity and your sense of self.